The Coutts Quarter Ton Cup was held in Cowes from the 14th to the 16th of June. The racing was run by the Royal Corinthian Yacht Club and was a mixture of windward leeward and round the Cowes races. The quarter ton class attracts a mixture of sailors of all ages, and the 2010 competition was no different. This year's fleet of 35 boats is the largest ever and includes boats and crews from all over the world. The conditions were tricky, even by Solent standards, and fluctuating winds made it difficult for race officer Bob Milner and his team to set courses. The strong tide often saw general recalls, and on more than one occasion the fleet started under the Z flag or black flag. Day 1 saw 2 races completed in a shifty and variable wind, but eventually the third race was abandoned after the wind dropped. Day 2 brought more challenging conditions as the wind shifted in direction and strength, gusting up to 20 knots at times. This caused quite a few problems for the fleet, and running repairs were necessary both during and in between races. 4 races were held on Day 2 to make up for the previous day, and despite numerous general recalls, the fleet enjoyed 3 windward leeward courses and a round the Cowes race to finish off Cowes at the end of the day. The leaderboard was fluctuating, and after 6 races, Peter Morton's Anchor Challenge had risen to first place, with Coutts in second. Coutts is owned by Darren Marston and Ollie Opus, who brought her in a sorry state last winter and has spent many hours restoring her to brilliant condition. At the end of Day 2, Rob Gray's Aguila was third, but she was waiting for the discard to come into play after a Z flag penalty saw her with a score of 17 on the first day. Whiskers, which was leading the fleet after Day 1, was also waiting to discard her DNF at the end of Day 2, which saw her drop down to 6th. She was OCS and blew the jib track, forcing running repairs and a retirement from that race. On the last day, the scores went right down to the final race. Coutts won the first 2 races to lead the fleet by 2.5 points going into the final round the Cowes race. Louise Morton and her all-female crew on board Espada went into the penultimate race in third, but she incurred a Z flag penalty, and a 28th saw her drop to 6th overall. Whiskers had led the fleet at the end of Day 1 and won the final race of the series to finish in 4th overall. Ian and Katrina Southworth sail Whiskers with a crew from the handball, and this is their first Coutts Quarter Ton Cup. They finished just ahead of Howard Sellers and Mike Till's Bullet, who took 5th. Aguila took 3rd in the final race to maintain her 3rd overall. In the closing seconds of the final race, Coutts took 4th, just ahead of Anchor Challenge, and that was enough to secure the top spot. Coutts took the series win ahead of last year's winner, Anchor Challenge. This weekend, Coutts TV will be filming all the action from the JP Morgan Asset Management Round the Island race. Check back next week to see the full report. If you're sailing, look out for our rib, and if you spot us, give us a wave. If you're in Coutts, remember you can see all the action from the water on our iZone network of screens around the town.